given the fact that there is a little bit of unrest, we can say, a little bit of bombing, a little bit of fire, a little bit of hell in the world today. US has one narrative, Iran has another, and what's the reality? We're going to try to uncover that in today's episode. We're going to be talking about our portfolios, what we're doing, what we're planning to do, and how we are approaching the uncertainty that markets are bringing today. Market just opened. We are an hour sort of late, so we'll see how this goes. Stay tuned. Timothy's just joining. Perfect timing, as always. Welcome to another episode of Market Bus. So yes, the big thing. I'm back too, so it's kind of nice. But yeah, the big thing happening in markets today seems to be that Trump is saying this is going to last very little. Meanwhile, it seems to be lasting a little while. Markets are differing here on what the potential will be, on how long this is going to last. I want to get your thoughts, everybody, on what's the potential here and how we're going to, like, how long do you think this is going to last? What would be the damages and how we can trade our way out of this? Or sort of like trade or invest for the long term. Welcome to another episode of Market Bus. Oh, man. So many technical issues. Thank you so much, Riverside. We really appreciate you, but don't worry. Timothy, I just muted you for a little while. And I think, yeah. But yeah. All right. So who wants to tackle this first? Because it seems that there's no end in sight. The Strait of Hormuz continues to be sort of preferential treatment only for the people that are siding with Iran. All of the Gulf states continue to get attacked by Iran. The tensions continue to be escalating. Actions are not matching the words of any of the states. Trump says this war is going to last little, but we have no idea what little means, or we have no idea what the final goals of this operation are. According to the latest news, is whatever Trump decides is their victory track here. So yeah, it's been crazy.
Yeah,
Welcome, Graham. Welcome, Dragos.
I can give it a just starting it out by sharing where we are at right now in terms of from the shipping angle. Right, as we know, 20% of oil and a lot other uh, trades, other goods, commodities go through the Strait of Hormuz. It has been closed. It has been closed, effectively closed. You know, you have maybe a couple of ships, 2 to 5 ships, crossing every day for the past 10 days or so. But on a normal day, it's more than 100 ships that are crossing. So if we look here, you can see all these clusters of ships kind of just hanging out there at anchor because they can't go through. And now, just yesterday, we had 4 different attacks on actual tankers. So there's even more of a perceived risk. Initially, it was because of the insurance premiums going too high, the war insurance being pulled. That has been resolved for the most part, but now we have the physical risk of ships being struck. For me, going back to what I said last week, I was at the same position. I think last week was oil was around 75 a barrel WTI, and my play was go long, go long. The market is underestimating the length of this conflict. Over the weekend, we saw oil spike all the way up to 120. Good profit taken there. And now we're back. We went below $80. Now we're back above 90 again. So I think the market is trying to figure out how long is this going to last. We have Trump saying no, this is not going to last very long. He's trying to calm the markets, in my opinion. Yesterday there was an interview where he said, "Oh, the Strait of Hormuz is doing great. The straits are doing fantastic. In the meantime, there is 4 ships on fire." So look at what he does and what the U.S. is doing, and not what they're saying. They also said they're going to escort the ships across the strait. That's really not feasible right now, given all the naval assets that they have, and they're using them to conduct strikes. So that's not happening either. So I think unless there is some sort of de-escalation, significant de-escalation, the prices of oil and other commodities that cross the strait are going to continue to go up and see a lot of volatility. Basically, one tweet can send it $10 higher or lower, depending on what the tweet is. But I think this continues. The other thing
Yeah.
is we don't see an end in sight with the new Ayatollah, right? It seems like actually it's escalating, and now Iran is using different types of weapons to conduct their asymmetrical kind of war. They're not gonna win in a conventional fashion, but they can win if they're able to control the price of oil and the markets. Right.
Yeah.
That's my initial take. But
Like
right.
I agree with you because many people think that it's Iran against the states and Israel, but the reality is that Iran is against the ticking clock of Trump, right? How long can Trump politically keep this up, right? So that's one of the biggest things here is like the Iranian regime can stay there because like they are like what's the downside for them, right? It's like it's if they lose completely, right? Like that's the problem with fighting with a dictator is that the downside for the dictator is getting like what their head in a spike somewhere in the country, right? So you're fighting against that. The question is how long can this truly last, right? We have seen that there are ships crossing the strait. I think China allowed the China is allowed to actually cross their ships, and a lot of people are actually changing the names of their ships to China owned, which seems to be a very hilarious tactic to say the least. Um, and yeah, I think India also got passage, like it's allowed to passage through, right? So something to take into consideration here as well. But yeah, I mean, like that's one thing that Marco Rubio said whenever the Russia-Ukraine war was being discussed, and he was like, "Look, in geopolitics, you don't pay attention to what people say; you pay attention to what people do." And what we are seeing is that the states is trying to get all of the Americans out of the region. We are seeing that oil production is being stopped because the oil infrastructure is being attacked, right? So the reality is completely different to what's being said, right? And the question is can this get out of hand? Is one missile in the wrong place, one bomb exploding in the wrong area? All of a sudden, this can get 10 times worse. Now, there's always risks in markets, and that's why we pay attention to them. But the question here is like, how long can this truly last? And I want to get like an idea. Dimitris, any thoughts on this?
That's the question I've been asking myself, and other people are asking me how long this will last. And I still believe it's gonna be like a short-term kind of a war. Is it like is it the second week now already? So if I say by the end of the March, would be considered like a short-term war? Because number one, the political cost that Trump will have in the midterms. That's number one. Even though the midterms are like 9 months away, it's not just around the corner. But on the other hand, the more this lasts, the more of the infrastructure of Iran gets destroyed because it's the US and Israel fighting this war, but Israel has shown to be a very capable, its air force is shown to be very capable compared to the NATO countries, the Germany and France and the United Kingdom. Israel has more Jews in them and they can do some serious damage. I think I think the Iranians are just bluffing. I think they are feeling the pain, and this is not a good development for them. Half of the country is destroyed. And at the same time, Trump initially said that he's not going to accept anything unless it's an unconditional surrender. That was the quote. Yesterday or the day before, I saw the White House press secretary changing that the unconditional surrender, meaning unconditional surrendering the nuclear capabilities. So Trump is getting flexible. He wants to have the flexibility to end this war when he wants, when things get ugly. Uh, Oil could spike another $10 more. Like the volatility is going to remain. But I believe once the good news meaning the war is stopping, then the oil is going to drop significantly and quick.
Yeah.
Um, as far the geopolitical questions, what is going on? This is a power shift between the countries that thought to be untouchable and safe havens in the Gulf, and it shows that they are not. And everyone except the United States and Russia that have their own energy and they export the extra are safe from this. So, where are you going to put your money? Are you going to put your money in the area now? No. Are you putting them in Asia? I wouldn't. So I don't trade the markets. I invest in the markets, and the more time goes, the more I will remain in the United States invested because they're immune of all of the shocks, especially the energy shock.
Like I would say that it's less. I wouldn't call them immune, you know, but I would say less, you know,
Yeah,
like they
yeah.
have the vaccine. But if it gets out of hand, this could get out of hand, right? Because America is still profit nation. Yo, but again, that was just a comment. Just a comment. Timothy, what are your thoughts on this? By the way, you're muted, so just yes, there you go.
Yeah. So there's a few things to note here. First of all, I think I found the solution on how to solve this because yesterday I basically went down the rabbit hole and found the solution. Here you have my solution where I think we should build a bridge basically over, yeah, where it's blocked, and then the boats can go over this water bridge and deport all the oil as we want. So I personally think this is one way we can have a solution.
Solved.
If this doesn't work out, we can just go back to how markets are doing, of course. I think like a few things to note, just like Dimitri said, we're in a midterm year, and the last thing Trump wants, what the Washington administration wants, is to lose Senate. So they're gonna try to find a quick solution to this, and of course, if they don't, it's gonna it will turn ugly, to be honest. That's what I think. But I have a positive mindset, always have, for the markets, because in the long run the markets move up. That's how my mind is shifted for every moment in the market, and I think they will try and find a solution. This is a tailwind for us that they don't look for another solution. They want to see this resolves. Now that said, there are some stats. Whenever oil remains elevated above $100, then we know the market is not gonna like it and it's gonna trend down. We're already seeing it. When the market is going down, it means oil is going up. Then we had a big drop in oil and the market was up. So it's basically inverse correlated right now, how we see markets and oil. Easy to trade if you know in what direction it's going to go for oil. Then you know how to play the markets. But once we stay above this 100-day for a prolonged time, it's gonna be more than a correction. It can be like a like we said last time, a 17 to 20% correction, and that's usually the average for a midterm election year. So that being said, a spike just above $100 is usually a buying opportunity, which means that this is a buying opportunity. Now in hindsight, we will know if this will truly be a buying opportunity, and if not, it's going to trend lower. But my strategy is to just play what we have right now. And right now, I say earnings are going up, tech is going down, so that's an opportunity. The lower tech goes, the more I will buy. We actually have a similar setup on the VIX. So whenever the VIX is above 27 for more than 11 days, it's not that good for the year returns for the market. So probably if it stays more than 11 days above it, you're gonna have a red year. And this is based off quantitative analysis. Now, if it's just a spike, just like we said in oil, then it's a buying opportunity. Then this means all we get in the S&P 500 is gonna be a buying opportunity.
How many days has
So
it been? How many days has it been above the 27 that you just mentioned?
one
It's got to be a couple. Yeah, it's got to be a couple.
or
Like I
two.
think the highest just before was
Okay,
like around 20.
all right.
27 is here, so it's had
consecutive
3
days?
days. No,
Or
doesn't need to be consecutive.
Okay, okay. Sorry.
So yeah.
Mimi, Mimi, you're
Mimi.
muted. Sorry.
All right, so can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I, I mean, I hate to admit it, but I am a lot more bearish about this year than I had started. I've been working on just delving deep into down the rabbit hole as well as we all have been into geopolitics, how this war will potentially unfold. As some of you know me, I look at everything from a bigger picture lens. So I try to add all the layers in, and not just go off, what data is presented to us or what the media is telling us. And in a nutshell, I do think that this war potentially might go on for longer than expected. I've been not just looking into crypto, but as well as geopolitics, but also I've been talking a lot about cycle theories. So societal cycles, economic cycles, Ray Dalio's big theory cycle, psychology, everything, all of that, the 18-year real estate cycle, all of that at this very moment is converging. And there are certain characteristics at this specific phase of the cycles. So what they all have similar at the moment is that, you've got the Benner cycle as well. I think that's like a 200-year cycle. You've got the K-wave theory. All of them are pointing to crisis. It's not great to hear, but this is just how life and societies unfold. And it talks about also the rise and fall of empires as well. And it really feels that we are going into tinfoil hat territory. But I do take into consideration and look at, okay, what are the characteristics that mark these certain phases? You've got heightened geopolitical tension, you've got war, you've got insane distrust in government, you've got commodities exploding, you've got, like, there's so many things that are just ticking off one by one. And so how I'm looking at all this is, firstly, unfortunately, I don't want this war to go on, but it unfortunately possibly may go on. We will have moments where they say, yeah, everything's great. Trump will come out and say this is going to be a short-lived war. You see oil come down, and then the stock market rallies, markets are happy again, everyone's great. Then suddenly something else comes out. It just feels like there's a lot going on, as it always does, a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know of until a little bit later. And for someone who also has been deep in technical analysis and the charts, I do see that side as well, because I'm integrating both sides. And with technical analysis, the charts do tell a story before something actually happens. So at the moment, I'm in gold, I'm in oil. I'm preparing my portfolio for a more risk-off environment to come. I'm trading the market as well as investing long-term. My long-term investments are more the AI build-out. But today specifically, I'd love to get your take on it, as all of you guys. I'm looking at agriculture and fertilizer ETFs. And because I'm thinking, you're trying to connect the dots. So if there's an energy shock, which we've had, then that's going to affect food production, which means fertilizer, wheat, soybeans. So that is something that I'm looking into, some of those ETFs to add to the portfolio as a hedge for what's happening and what's to come. I don't want this war to go longer, but from what I'm seeing and going down all the research I've been doing daily, it just points to, yeah, it's going to be a while.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. Graham
I'm
here
actually,
is talking about a couple of things. But yeah, Adrian, go ahead.
yeah, no, I'm actually on the similar boat as Mimi. Just one data point from yesterday. So yesterday, the International Energy Agency those countries agreed to release 400 million barrels of oil into the market. Obviously, that takes a while to actually hit the market. They're capped by how much they can get out of those reserves on a daily basis. But that's the news that's supposed to come to markets, right? Instead, we saw oil go up. That's the largest ever release of reserves from the IEA, right? And everything it's pointing to this being a longer than expected conflict. Again, initially the market thought it was going to be a quick one. I think there was some overestimation on how fast was going to be, given what we saw in Venezuela, which was basically a conflict that lasted 2 to 3 hours. But this is a completely different animal, right? So I agree it's going to go longer. The way I'm playing this, I'm in oil. I said it last week. I said it the week before. I've been in oil, doing great. All right. I this week I actually completely exited my SPY longs. I'm more of a trader than an investor. I still have my long-term plays that are energy, AI, for the most part. But from a trading perspective, I'm completely out of the SPY because two things. One, I think inflation is gonna push higher once we get the April report. I think that's going to come in hot, and that's going to trigger another sell-off at that time. And also the S&P, it has lost its critical level. I think for the past month and a half, it's been trying to hold at 67, 60, 67, 70 critical level. It has lost it, and that's an indication that's going to go lower. Also, on the cycles, the S&P 500 equities in general, they also have these weekly cycles, and it broke its daily cycle, its 40-day daily cycles, with that break under 67.60, and that could potentially indicate that it's going to continue lower if it breaks its weekly cycle as well, which I see it happening either this month or next month. It's something, at first it was a crazy speculation back in December that there's going to be an everything crash, March, April. Now it seems like we're starting to see that play out. And that's going to impact equities. That's also going to impact crypto. I mean, it's going to impact a lot of things. So there's not a whole lot of things that are safe right now, other than oil in the short term. But again, once that gets resolved, it could easily come back down very, very fast. So
Like we're
from my side,
yeah.
play, playing oil and then being defensive, having a really big cash position right now to take advantage of a possible continued drop in across all assets.
No, like I believe there are opportunities. What Timothy says that oil, well, and I believe Adrian touched on, it's like oil is acting as a hedge sort of for the rest of the market. We are seeing like just the correlation is just negative in that sense, right? Interestingly enough, I've seen sort of like what you would expect the safety trade to be, which is usually okay, money moves to cash and then moves to bonds. We are seeing the 10-year treasuries actually the yields increase, which means that the prices are coming down, which tells you that people are not looking for that much safety. Like they are seeing the risks and the money's moving to different places, right? I do think that mega caps are going to outperform here, though. Like based on the conflict in itself, and like I do see that people will go back to last year's trade of going into safety, which is just high, like what's the new term that the suits are using? It's the halo, right? Like high. It's what's it called? It's like businesses that are not gonna depreciate quickly, right? And that half the production capabilities like metals, like energy, all those different things would likely continue to appreciate because it's safety, right? Um, but I like the Mag 7 here, right? Like I like Nvidia here at this prices. We've had like almost 6 months of consolidation in the price. We've seen Microsoft, for example, drop 30% from the highs, like Amazon come down from the highs, and it's like if we go into a war standing, like there will be benefits in those cases. Now, will the S&P 500 come down? Potentially, right? Like we could see like there is overvaluation in the S&P 500 right now, where we see sort of like the consumer defensives at a very high valuations because but not everything. Like I think it's a stocks pickers market more than an index market, and that's where it's sort of like investors shine, right? Or even traders in this case could potentially take advantage. Like if you can see right now, like S&P 500 is down, the Dow is down 1%. This is going to affect Trump dearly, because the Dow is not sitting at all-time highs. I think the lady that mentioned it is kind of biting herself because it's like the moment she said it was the peak. But we are seeing money rotate to different places, right? Like Mimi said, right? Like there are places where where the fertilizer trade could come in and take advantage. Now, I know that Timothy has to leave soon, so I want to get his thoughts on this really quickly. It's like, Timothy, what are you trying, like, what are you paying attention to right now? Where do you see the opportunities here? What's on your desk?
Well, it's gonna sound boring because I've just repeated myself for the last couple of weeks. Although it's very possible that markets are going to go down, I'm still buying. For me personally, I'm still buying tech stocks. Why? I'm not a macro trader, so I'm not gonna jump from oil to the S&P to energy to gold. I mean, I might open just a few positions, but that's just not my style that I represent on eToro. My style, and I try to stick to my game plan, and that's basically what you have to do. You come up with the game plan and you stick to it. And my game plan is to buy whenever companies are strong, growing, but mispriced. And right now, I'm seeing that in especially software stocks and tech stocks. We have the Mac 7, which are very undervalued based on its history comparing to the S&P. So the lower they go, the bigger the opportunity becomes. And I have around 15% cash on my portfolio to buy those companies because I think they will be the ones that rebound the hardest. I think we're not yet there, but eventually you will have traders as well that are going to see this mispricing in the market where they see Max 7 stocks very cheap, and they're gonna start trading it as well. So that's how I want to position myself, allocate myself before the big moves come. And when they come, they're gonna be 30-40% to the upside.
Yeah. No, there will be opportunities in this market. I mean, if we continue to see some companies continue to, like today, for example, one of the things I'm paying attention to, Adobe, right? Adobe's has earnings today. So it'll be interesting to see how the results will be. And then could they continue to show results? Is this going to affect them? I don't think it is, at least in the short term. So
So
could we
so
see
far, all
energy?
the AI companies have beaten earnings. We had Oracle doing very good. We have yeah,
Salesforce is up today.
of course, Salesforce, but all the software stocks are a little bit oversold, so this might just be a bounce in a downtrend. But
Yeah.
I mean, looking at the earnings, it's doing very good. I haven't checked Micron. Are they releasing earnings?
They are releasing earnings next week. I am paying
Okay.
very close attention to this stock. I really like this going into earnings. And I think that the tensions that we have right now increase the value of Micron by substantially. Like worst case scenario is Micron doubles its sale, like doubles the pricing of its products, not even sales, just the value of the stock goes up, right? If South Korea, the fear is that South Korea doesn't have enough energy to supply its factories for the next, like, I think they had like 8 days of natural gas left. And I think 80% of their natural gas comes from the Strait of Hormuz. So it'll be very interesting to see how this pans out, but I do like Micron in this position.
Also,
Like,
one more thing before I have to leave. So looking at financial stocks, which are also a big portion of the S&P 500, they together are also at undervalued levels. Why? A lot of them are trading below their 50 week moving average or 50 daily moving average. I saw the stats, but I don't remember precisely. And that is something that rarely happens on real capitulation events. So I'm also looking at stocks like Mastercard, Visa, all these
credit
financial
services.
companies.
Yeah. They've been taking a hit because of the credit card fiasco of Trump, right? They're saying he's gonna cap that, and then that's when we started seeing the weakness, and we just seen continued weakness in their narrative here. But yeah, for sure, for
Okay,
sure. Timothy, anything
I'm
else? Anything
leaving.
else you want to tell the viewers?
No, if someone wanna help me build a bridge, you can call me
Yeah. We're looking for funding. We're starting a
and
hedge
check
fund
our
because this would be the biggest
portfolio.
investment. Yeah. Make sure to check our portfolios down below. I'll let you go, Timothy. I'll let you go. All right. Let
Bye.
me. Bye. Here, give me a second. Let me see if I can do it. I think that's it. Nice. All right. So yeah, I mean it's interesting. So this is a question I have because I know this is gonna last a little bit longer. Market's a little bit down today, as we can see, but how long do you think it's gonna last? Like I'm not gonna hold you to stone here, but what's your sort of expectations? I put a poll, and it seems eToro believes this is gonna last past June. What are your thoughts here? Because Dimitri and I were having conversations.
Yeah.
We were like, look, like this could end really quickly, but it seems to be dragging on. It seems that Iran doesn't want to. Iran is willing to go on and on and on, right?
Nestor, I think a good
Yeah.
metric to look at is if you look at futures, they're priced out for every month. So right now, the ones expiring in April, they're at 94.5 is WTI, right? The ones in May are at 93, so that's $2.50 lower. And then the ones in June are all the way down to 89.4. So I think the market thinks this doesn't go past June, right? But what's really important to look at is kind of the differences between the two. If they start converging closer and closer, then that's an indication that we're starting to see the market realize that, hey, this is actually going to be maybe like a 6-month conflict or a year conflict or multi-year conflict. That's a good metric to look at and see to understand how the market is pricing the conflict.
Okay. So it's interesting because like usually financial markets is where people have skin in the game, right? Like if you look at the news, everybody's like, I want to give you the most obnoxious view on this and tell you that everything is the worst, so you pay attention to what I have to say next. But the reality is like financial markets don't have that. It's people putting the money and saying, look, like I think we're gonna go lower, we're gonna go higher. So I agree with you that like financial markets will provide sort of visibility on this. You know, like do I think that we could end this in March? Like
Yeah.
again, like Trump keeps moving the goalposts, right? So it's like we just don't know what the final outcome is. Like, does he want to get the uranium? Apparently, so one of the stories that I've heard is that Iran has enough uranium to build 16 different bombs through time, right? Like it's not right away, but they have it. When they first bombed, right? They attacked. Maybe they hit it, maybe they didn't. We just have no idea because we didn't have eyes there, right? But then the question is like, why do they keep negotiating if the goal is to potentially get the uranium out, right? So that's one thing. That was one part. And the question is like, what happens if all of a sudden this new supreme leader becomes like they've killed his family? You know what I mean? So this guy ain't gonna be like sunshine and rainbows about Trump right now. He's not gonna shake his hand at least, right? America struck first. It's crazy, but America struck first, right? So the big question goes down to how does this how could this like I just don't see how the Iranians, because at the end of the day I do think that the Iranians, if they lose, this is what are they going to do to the supreme leader, right? Like they're not just gonna, I think he's like he was formed by the IRCG, the Iranian military, which is like the heavy part. So it's like I just don't see him backing down unless they can take him out. Now he's prime target number one, most wanted list ever. You know what I mean? Like he definitely they want to get him, and Israel is definitely planning that. So we have to see how this pans out. But I don't know. For me, like I'm
Yeah.
looking at this and it's like I'm scared of this getting out of hand, right? So the faster he can claim a victory here, because that's another question that I have. What is a victory here, right? How can Trump walk out of this and in 9 months say I did the best thing for America here? Now I asked my dad, and my dad is like, make America safe again, right? All of a sudden. So it's like, but the question is like, what are you guys thoughts on that, right? Like what's a win for Trump here? But I want to get the first question because I know my ADD takes over. How long do you think this could potentially last?
For me, as I said before, a lot longer than we actually think. I would think like at least for this year, at least. That's my take on it. Not that it would be like ongoing, like entirely. There will be moments where it would seem like that it's over and it's okay. But I think potentially, I don't want this to happen, but I think potentially other countries may get involved. We may see civil unrest in in America as well, I feel like the system there could potentially break down, and there'd be a lot of anger of how it is. Like I'm also thinking about the psychology behind all of this. And then if you're talking about like the new supreme leader of Iran, he's angry, and he needs to he has something to prove now. He's not gonna come like be appointed and be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna be nice. No, he's like, I gotta show that I have some balls, and I'm angry. So based on that alone, I mean, I'm worried. And yeah, the enriched uranium, nobody knows where that is. They
That's
don't
the
know
big
where
if
it is.
here. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the big if here.
So that's scary too. So I hope that there is peace soon, but I think, yeah, it's not that simple.
Dimitris, you're muted, by the way.
Okay, so I'm the most bullish of everyone today,
I think so. I think so.
and I would say by the end of the month, probably beginning of April, and I hear everyone saying that the new supreme leader is not gonna want to talk, but I think the U.S. probably would like to talk to someone that is willing to talk, and they're gonna go through the list and find someone that is willing to make a deal, because in order to be a deal, both sides have to show face, right? And that's how deals are made. No party is happy after a compromise, so it has to be a compromise. So I don't think Trump wants this war to last, and people, U.S. soldiers to be dying in the Middle East. It's not a good look. This is not what he ran last year. So I don't think he wants any part of that. He's trying to find flexibility how to get out of this war, but at the same time, he doesn't want to lose face, right? So I think this thing ends up like sooner than people think. As far oil and how oil is trading, the volatility in which has almost doubled the price since the beginning of the war. And I don't think that's a fair. I don't think. I think that more people trade oil nowadays than ever in human history. Right? I go to the gym and I talk to people that they have no business trading oil, telling me, are you buying oil? I'm short on oil. Dude, you start trading yesterday. Why are you shorting oil after you watch CNN for 2 minutes? Right? Adrian, Mimi, you know this is true, right?
Yeah.
So the price the price spikes, yes, some of it is the uncertainty, but a lot of it is traders. And that's why I don't put too much weight on the oil price, only because, listen, like in the last 2 weeks, I met more oil traders than I met the first 35 years of my life.
When
So
it went negative, there's more oil
yes,
traders than when it went negative.
yes,
People are like,
yes.
I'll go to the shop and they'll give me free gas. Yeah.
So there's some of that as well. You have to take that into account that there's a lot of that.
Well, that was the interesting behavior that we saw on the weekend, right? Like, and Adrian can attest to this, is that the fact that all of a sudden WTI touched 120, right? Such a massive spike. We're talking about trillions of dollars worth of the value of freaking oil worldwide. And all of a sudden, we saw sort of that kind of coming down very quickly. I mean, on the weekend, you're going to get low volume. You're going to get a lot of fear, uncertainty, and doubt, which is one of the things that where we are right now. We're trying to understand this war. The reason the market is moving to such an extent and the reason the opportunities will come is because the market is trading headlines. Right? Like all of a sudden Trump says one thing and the market corrects, right? And it's like we're up 3% on the S&P 500 just because Trump said one word. And then in the next sentence he's like, "Oh, I don't know much about that." So it's like all of a sudden the market is trying to price it because we just don't have any news, any information, right? Like every single time we get a shock, the market sort of prices in the worst. And then we start realizing what the worst can be, right? Obviously, like I'm not taking away some of the challenges this war will bring, and the challenges that it has already brought for the next couple of months, right? So, for example, one of the things I'm paying attention to, natural gas. Qatar is the second, I believe, is the biggest exporter of liquid natural gas in the world, right? Like through ships, like, and it goes through the Strait of Hormuz. They had to cut production drastically, right? So it's like, what would that have an effect? And they had to cut production because their facilities go stroke. So I heard one of the professionals, and obviously you have to figure out who the professionals are here, and then say, okay, like the guy said, we are a month away. Not only we are 2 months from fixing the problem, we're 2 months from starting production again. So all of a sudden, this starts giving you an idea of how long this could last. And the longer it lasts, for example, in oil, we're seeing that first of all, you see the reduction in production because you need to because all of a sudden you need to store the oil because you're not shipping it, right? So you put it in the ships, you put it in the storage places, but that gets filled up. So what happens after? You get a reality check, which is like, okay, we're going to cut production. Then after cutting production, you have to stop production, which could cause problems with the pressure in the wells, the machinery, infrastructure, all of that, and that has implications for the long term. So the longer this goes on, we could see major impacts, but we are seeing, for example, the G7 opening up the reserves. We're seeing like, okay, we're gonna see it, but then the question is like, what are the real effects here, right? Because it's like the Saudis just open up a pipeline that goes from one side to the other one, and it's about 7 million barrels per day, right? So that alleviates some of the pressure that they were having. But the question is like, how can you sort of like get all of this news and then get the right? Because at the end of the day, it's like, who's telling you the truth here and who's not telling you the truth, right? Trump doesn't have an incentive to tell you the truth because he wants to keep price like, what does he want? Low prices and to accomplish whatever he wants in Iran, right? But then you can't listen to the Iranians either because the Iranians want to create as much fear and panic as they can. So you have to listen to the people around, which are Oman, the United Arab Emirates, the Saudis. They're telling you it's like, okay, we're stopping production, we're doing this, we're doing that, and that gives you an idea of what's truly happening. What's China saying, even though they have a horse in the race, right? Like there are so many like different things, right? So it's like, could something break? Yes. Do I think usually, and I think that this would be something that Timothy would say, but it's like I looked at the statistics, and after every conflict, the mean, so the number of days that it takes to go from the moment it happened to the S&P back to where it was, it's about 30 days, like a complete rebound, right? So that's the mean. Usually, there are some things that take longer. If we calculate the peak events, it's somewhere around 40, right? The average, I think, it's around 40, but the mean is around 30, right? So it's like that's also something that's going to happen. But there, like I agree with Adrian on the other side, there are so many other risks in the economy that it became apparent in the last couple of months since October. That's the reason we've been consolidating for so long because the market just doesn't know where it wants to go, right? Now, are we going to get this perfectly? No, right? But there are opportunities to kind of take advantage here, right? Like, I don't know, like I bought oil, right? I traded oil and I'm up, 7% on that trade. It's a trade. It's a hedge, right? Like overall, I'm down. But when markets recover, which at some point they will, because we'll figure this out. We've gone through many times where these things like this happen. We could see that sort of rebound and that sort of. So yeah, there will be opportunities. This uncertainty will create, right? Like the fact that oil all of a sudden spikes to 100 doesn't take away from many, like from the fundamentals of many businesses in America and in the rest of the world. So I think opportunities definitely bounce here. Let's have a look at the mess. Anything else you guys want to touch on?
Yeah, I mean, like it's not complete doom and gloom. I mean, what's happening around the world is terrible, but we need to continue to remain agile. And that's the biggest thing for me going into the new year is that if you guys have seen my portfolio, I've completely restructured it and as slowly as possible. And I'm like 35% crypto now. I'm slowly de-risking. I've got a lot of stocks, commodities, and ETFs, and I'm trading actively, just based on my own strategy. Everyone's got their own strategy, and that's perfectly fine. But for me, like I will continue to remain flexible, agile, trade based on the geopolitical landscape, based on the macro landscape as well. Even this is probably not a discussion for another time, but just like in terms of like economic instability is a huge risk as well. And looking at unemployment rates, jobs, looking at private credit funds, there's a lot of stress there as well. And so I'm not sitting here saying, oh my God, everything's just it's doom and gloom. just gonna go crawl in a ball and cry. It's just more like, I need to be realistic, and how am I going to trade my way and invest my way through this? And for me, it's just remaining flexible. Big cash position, obviously, as Adrian said, is important to allow you to take, on those opportunities that come, and there will be, during crises and crashes, huge pullbacks. That's when you make the most money.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's when you
Make
get
money
it.
when you buy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. For me, I think, I mean, the conflict itself probably goes until through the end of April, at least. But by that time, you would have seen systemic risk increase, not only within oil, but everything that relies on that trade, right? The oil trade, other commodities, and so on. And the biggest thing will be inflation, right? Maybe mention the like jobs, right? We saw one of the biggest like revisions down on jobs, right? So the economy is not doing so great. The other thing is with oil prices, and I agree with Dimitri. Yes, part of it is traders that they just got in, they're just putting in a bunch of trades, and that's why we see such a big volatility. But there's also the fundamental change that's grinding up. I was talking offline with Mimi saying I think the fair market value of oil today, given the risk, is around $90. We've seen go 120, we've seen gone, below 80, right? And now it's back above roughly that $90 range because I think that's the what it should be priced at given all the risks. But the longer this goes on, if it goes through April, there's going to be long-term impacts on the oil supply, right? You're releasing reserves. Those reserves need to be replenished, right? There's infrastructure that needs to be rebuilt. Once you start shutting down fields and production, that could take a month, 2 months for it to go back to its full production capacity. So those things that we're seeing here, they're going to have long-term impacts. And I'm not saying oil is going to go to $200, which it might go to 150 and spike on volatility. But longer term, we're not going to be seeing oil back at the 60s, for the rest of the year, in my opinion, right?
I think so too.
In
I'm in the same camp. I'm in the same camp.
and what the impact of that is going to be, one, on inflation, right? That's going to increase prices, and that's going to take away some of the tools that the Fed has to stimulate the economy because they're less likely to cut rates. And you're already seeing a weakening job market that may accelerate its weakness, right? You're seeing a liquidity crunch in private credit right now. That's slowly going to transition to the overall market, and that's another added in to kind of like the soup of risks that we're seeing. I think all of that combined with all the different studies, the cycle theory, all that stuff, it's just pointing to everything is going to have at least a bit of a extended period of drawdown, say like 2 3 months through the summer, right? Including equities, crypto, all of it, right? It's just pointed that way. One thing to keep in mind is we usually see a recession right after oil spikes, right? So almost every recession, oil has spiked right before that recession. That's kind of like the last trigger. We have seen equities top. We have seen metals top for the most part, right? We have seen crypto top, right? Energy is usually the last kind of market sector that tops, and it's still high, but we may see that top soon, right? So imagine if we conclude this war at the end of April. Great, peace, everybody's happy. But those systemic risks and that impact of those higher oil prices and all the industries that are being affected today are going to be felt throughout the year and potentially not recover until after the summer. So for me, the way I'm placing it, again, big cash position, I'm out of leverage, equities trades, and then I'm waiting for the summer to come in. You know how they say, sell in May and go away. I think we're gonna see kind of sideways or really choppy action, if not a downtrend into the summer. And I'm getting ready to basically go all in once we see that. That's going to coincide with what everybody is expecting. A crypto bottom in Q3 around the October. I personally think it's anywhere between the August timeframe to that October timeframe, and I think equities will coincide as well with that timeframe. That's my personal opinion, not financial advice.
Or was financial advice here at Market Bus. No, I'm just joking. Okay. All right. Oh man. Okay.
Let me say one more thing.
Go,
Let me
Dimitris.
say one more thing. So the announcement from countries releasing oil from their reserves, that spooked the market. It's like the Fed doing an emergency cut, right?
It is. Like if we were gonna resolve this quickly,
Yeah,
why?
it just tricked the markets, and because now you're admitting that you really have a problem as far the oil supply, um, and the possible inflationary pressures in next month, not this month. And so with that in mind, what I did in the last week, I sold some of my Walmart, which it's one of
That
my,
spooked me. I'm joking.
yeah. I sold some of my Walmart precisely because of the possible inflationary pressures and rotated the profits into tech, mostly Microsoft, Nvidia, and I bought some Novo Nordic as well, which is so I'm buying the deals. I'm buying what is already in discounts, steep discounts in some cases. The software trade, I'm not really a big fan of software. You know, the Adobes and all that. I don't really know them, so I'm not really into them. But tech, and one more thing, you probably guys saw 2 days ago, Amazon announced a bond sale and they raised like 37 billion like in no time. So this is after the Google trade. You remember Nestor, a couple of months back, Google announced. So they're borrowing money. They're going to the bond market to borrow money to spend on the AI infrastructure.
Yeah. No, I think the
So
AI story continues. Like in all honesty, I think it continues. I just don't see them slowing down. And even if we go into war times, right? Like Pentagon used perplexity to freaking.
and that goes to your comment earlier that you were wondering why the treasuries are going higher. It's because Amazon and Google are offering investment grade bonds. So would you buy the treasuries or would you buy because I mean we can make the argument that Amazon and Google and Microsoft they might be like a bit safer than the US government. Yeah, at
Right.
this
And
point.
maybe for
I know it's
now,
not because they print the money, the US
I'm.
government, but still, it's like
Yeah.
really, really close.
No, it's the truth.
Something to
I mean,
consider.
look at the moves. Look at the moves. Look at the moves this month. This is month to date.
Yes.
S&P 500 move to date. Where's money going? The losers. We're seeing rotation back to Oracle. I actually took advantage of this move, which is crazy. But
Yeah,
yeah, I
but
mean,
well, I mean, they missed 10 of the last 12 earnings. I mean,
it's a trade. Don't get me wrong, it's a
it's a
trade,
trade, yes.
right?
It's a trade.
But you're seeing it's like even energy here, still.
And you got it on point. The Oracle, I asked you one time, what's the price that you want to buy what was the price that you would buy? And you said 150, and I think we got just right on that, and then it went up, right? Something like that.
Yeah. It was like I think it was 160 if everything stayed the same, and then it went down a little bit, and then
Yeah.
just yeah. It's I mean like the thing is just like even at this levels, I do think that I mean like there are things that are just being overpunished, and the question is like when do you just want to take a dip, you
Yeah.
know, and to take
Absolutely.
Dimitri,
advantage of them.
I saw that you bought more Nvidia. Remember how we had the bet with Nesta that AMD will outperform? Do you
I'm
still
still
think
on
so?
that. Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. 100%.
100
I'm getting his money.
bucks.
I'm getting his money. 100% I'm getting his money.
A charity of your choice is getting this money.
You're
A
gonna give
charity.
them you're gonna give them to me first and then I'm gonna give it to charity.
Sure. Oh man, my charity is gonna enjoy your money.
Yeah.
I
Adrian,
think
do you want a piece of this of the action? Mimi is already in it. Why don't you tell Adrian what the bet is?
so.
Well, the
Adrian. Well,
yes,
Adrian
Nesta.
knows. Adrian knows. He was watching the stream, so he
Oh
So
knows.
yeah,
what's the bet again? What's the bet again?
So who
100.
will outperform? Who will outperform since we
Nvidia
had
or
that episode
AMD? Let me
until
give
the end
you
of the
my
year?
case.
Until
I
the end of the year.
I think Nvidia is just gonna go sideways. It's not really gonna do a whole lot. Um, AMD came out with like what advanced chips or something like that, and and they're cheaper, I believe, from the last I saw. So I think AMD is going to benefit. AMD is going to outperform Nvidia. That's the bet. Yes or no?
Nvidia's looking. I mean, it's been consolidating for a. Hold on, let me share my screen real quick.
It's since October. Since October.
What does the chart say?
Yeah,
The chart
exactly.
says we are either creating a base
Or a cup and handle,
or a cup and
or
handle
It's.
head and
or the
I mean,
shoulders,
stars
or
and
the
Saturn
moon.
is retrograde or whatever it's called.
I
Yeah.
guess I
And
had a trade back here because there's old stuff that I have. But I mean, this is beautiful, honestly. It went up, kind of consolidated since what, July of last year in this channel, and so far it's staying there. I think any time it touches this line here, or gets close to it, that's a buy. We're also seeing this is a 200-day MA, and that's good support there. So I mean, I think it goes higher, honestly.
We're not
but
saying
the
that
question
Nvidia
is does
has.
AMD go higher?
Which one? They
Like
both
AMD
do
is
well.
smaller. Like understand, I'm taking the like in theory I should be losing this. So if I win, oh my goodness. Oh my
Yes,
goodness.
I'm not gonna let you get out of this bet,
I
Nestor.
will come in a white horse.
We
And I
should
will
do
have a
two v
live stream on
two.
a white horse.
If
And you'll
Adrian
get me
takes
off it? What did you say,
two
Mimi?
v
Sorry?
two, I mean, like it should be 2v2, but it's Adrian's decision. He's just gonna look at the
Yeah,
charts now.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
If we look at AMD over Nvidia, I mean, it looks like
Well,
it's in a
Cup
downtrend.
and handle ish.
Yeah. Well, failed.
Failed.
Cup and handle.
Failed.
I would say Nvidia.
Wow. Okay.
Okay,
All
I'm
right.
down. I'm down. Okay, maybe
Let's
if I
do
lose,
it.
I only lose $100 now. Okay, are you down to take it? Are you down to take it, Adrian?
Yeah. Let's
So
let's
it's
up
okay.
it.
So it's
So it's
I'm gonna
200.
say so it's like it's just 100 each, right? But then is to like a charity. So whoever chooses is a charity. What happened to? Oh, Demetrius was like peace. He
I'm
didn't like
done
that chart. Like yeah,
Yeah.
I'm down. I'm down. That takes away a little bit of my risk, but I'm also down. I'll donate it. I'm more than happy to. More than
No,
happy
I
to.
think they'll both do well, but
Like I think that's exactly it.
yeah,
Like I think they'll both do well.
yeah.
So
AMD will do
so you're
better.
officially in the trade, Adrian. Is what I'm
Yeah.
hearing.
I'm
Okay. All
team
right.
Nvidia.
All right. Next, let's go. Let's
so
go.
it's 2 and 2.
Two and
All right.
two.
Yeah.
Okay.
2v2. 2v2.
Wait,
Yeah.
is it £100, euro,
It's
or
100.
US, or
You
Australian?
100
depending
euros.
depending depending what's
100
lower.
pesos.
I thought you said 700 Australian.
Oh, it's so good. That's so good.
Oh gosh.
It's gotta be interesting. It's gotta be interesting.
Yeah,
It's for the charities. It's for the charities. It's
it
just
is.
who gets to choose the charity. That's it. You know? That's hilarious. But yeah. Oh man. What a day. Today is an interesting day.
How
Oil
is the
continues to go higher.
how is the market? Let's see. Okay.
Oil continues to go higher. Oil sitting at 95 right now.
That's it.
Equities
You
down.
know,
Ooh.
that's
Okay.
hilarious. But yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
Hmm. Interesting.
It's an interesting day. It's an interesting day. Can I unmute?
I mean,
Oh, I
it's
can
the
unmute.
same trend that's been going on.
That's okay.
Oh man. Okay, let me have a look at. Oh, Timothy, and yes, ServiceNow did really well. Market liked it. Do we have time to speak about Mara? Mara will do nothing until it does something. That's all you need to. Like at this point, I don't know if I'm holding it because I'm proud.
Maybe. I think
But hey,
anything related to crypto is gonna be
for
choppy,
now,
sideways at best. Potentially somewhat of a relief rally, although I think 72K was it for Bitcoin.
Yeah, look,
But
the longer it goes, this relief rally is not really relieving, is it? So,
I think it's got basically through March to do something. It could potentially go. I think initially I said the maximum it could go was 84K. I'm
yeah.
kind of reducing that. I think maximum it can go at this point is 79K. And again, it's got basically 2 weeks to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's I haven't, I'm not actually trading actively crypto because I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't know what it's doing. I don't know what Bitcoin is going to do. I really look at it, I have no idea. It's just in no man's
I'm
land.
I'm short Bitcoin.
Yeah, I mean, I'm leaning more bearish, but let's just see what happens. A part of me, like when I trade, I look at everything, and then the last say is my gut. I just have this gut feeling, and I'm not feeling too great about what's going to happen over the weekend for Bitcoin crypto. But I hope I'm wrong. And regardless, if for investors, as an investor, um, it hasn't bottomed. Bitcoin hasn't bottomed to me. As a trader, I'm just gonna wait for clearer direction. But I know some people are scaling in shorts, and I think that is a smart move right now because it's looking weak. So
Yeah. The on the flip side of that, playing devil's advocate, is it actually has held up a lot better this
yeah,
past week compared to equities. Right, so
yeah.
the relative
I'm
strength
baffled
there.
at the fact that, like, I've used Bitcoin as a barometer for how the day is gonna play out, and if I like Bitcoin, if it's green on the day,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah, it's held well.
yeah, I think it is. I think it is, but don't. That's not financial advice, but I think it is. But yeah, I like it.
It's bottomed. You think it's bottomed?
So it hasn't bottomed, but the thing is like I do think that we're gonna see chips continue to outperform here, and that's a triple leverage semiconductor trade.
Of course.
Ugh.
I
I'm
think,
losing money.
so in terms of the overall market, right, I do think there's going to be weakness in the next round. But there are companies that have been beat down so bad already, right? Same like alts and crypto. It has already been beat down so hard that when there is a further decline, they don't go down as much, or they may even hold, right? Things like Amazon, Microsoft, those are companies that are probably not going to go down a lot more if the market dumps, 10%, right? They might just do a 5 or just keep with 10%, whereas other companies might do a 20% drop, right? So it's a matter of what companies have been consolidated for such a long time and have defined their structure that is likely not to break even with overall weakness in the market. So back to your point, I forgot who said it, was Nestor or Dimitri, says that it's a stock picker's market right now, and really you gotta look. One of the metrics that I've been seeing is that if you buy basically any company that's in the top 50 of the S&P, when it gets close to its 200 week moving average, that's a value buy most of the time, and you're gonna end up outperforming the index. So that would be a good metric to look at. Look at some companies that are getting close to that point. I know Microsoft almost tagged the 200 week MA, which that's another thing that I'm going to, when I start buying and scaling back in, those are the first things I'm going to be looking at. What still holds value, right, long term, but has been severely underpriced.
Yeah. So you bought Microsoft, Dimitri?
I did.
Yeah.
Yesterday, or was it the day before? I bought Microsoft, Nvidia, and I bought Novo Nordisk 2 days ago.
Mm.
So yeah, that has been my buying in the last week or so.
And I've been trying to preach Micron to Dimitri's, but he don't want to
I'm
buy.
tempted again. I made good money. It was Nesta's call like months ago. I bought it, then I sold it, and I made like 30 something percent, I think, or
You,
more.
yo, Adrian, look at Micron's chart and tell me what you see.
You know what, he pitched it to me yesterday, like
Micron,
2 days ago, and he
Yeah,
has a good point, but it's like jumping on the train, like momentum, and and this is not me, right?
Yes, no, you're the
It's not
contrarian.
me.
I
That's
don't,
why
I
I'm
don't, I
not.
don't
Contrarian.
like it. I don't
I
like it.
love it.
What do you
I like
call? What do you
It's
this
kind
call
of,
it?
company. This company sitting like the way that I see it is that the way that I see it is like Micron has been like Micron is sitting on like new oil production, and the price of oil just like spiked. Like that's the way that I see it. It's like it's gonna go nuts.
yeah, we're
Like I
kind of
have
seeing
a
kind
feeling.
of a bull flag here,
Yeah,
right?
kind.
But I'm also concerned about this and retesting this level,
It could.
True.
But
right?
look at the fundamental. Look at the forward P of this company. Look at the forward P of this company. The forward P of this company is 7.
I think at this point, Micron is what Tesla was in 2021. I think it doesn't change on fundamental. I think everyone in their mothers, they trade in Micron precisely because it was like 60% year to date, like 300% the last year. So everyone's jumping in. And
But it's like the prices don't are not stopping. Like the price is not stopping.
this is like a
This,
trade. This is a trade. You have to
yeah,
get in. Out.
I would play it. I would wait on the break of this upper trend line because that's telling me
Next
okay,
week.
there's a bull
Next
flag.
week. Pay attention. Next week. I'm telling you. Next week,
So
I have this position is the size of my Google position back when I was talking about Google when it was beat up. So I could take a big hit, like I could take a big haircut, like, but I'm willing to take that risk right now. I'm just, like I think they're gonna say earnings and they're gonna be like, yeah, okay, like we are the only ones that have like memory and everybody has to buy from us, and potentially we're gonna put our expectations higher because Korea has to stop production of their memory in the next couple of days, and now we're a monopoly. In
but
my
what's your
head,
target though?
my target 600.
What?
600.
Where is
I
it
think
now?
this company touches 600 in the next, like in this next year, like in the next
All
24
right.
Next week?
months.
Let me add
By
this
next
to
week.
Maybe,
my
By
like
next
not
week.
maybe, but maybe.
Yeah, I
Like it's
mean
crazy.
that does the trade, right? So you buy on the breakout above. If it breaks out, your stop loss is on the breakdown of the same trend line.
sell
So you're getting
everything,
2.5.
buy Micron, all in,
Absolutely.
10x leverage.
You know what surprises me? It's how the oil producers have performed with the price of oil at this levels. The oil producers are telling you that this is not going to last a long time. It's
Or
crazy.
they have exposure to the Persian
They have
Gulf,
risk.
right?
Yeah, that's also true. That's also true.
Yeah.
Yeah, we are talking about it just before the episode.
Okay. Hey guys, I do need
Hmm.
to drop, but thank you
Yeah,
all.
bye.
Thank
I'll
you.
put you in the background. Don't close the tab. I'll put you in the background. Don't close the tab. Don't close the tab, please. And thank you. Your radio sunshine never change. Nos vemos. Bye. Peace. Nice. Awesome. All right.
Oh,
Cool.
wow.
Any closing thoughts? Because I gotta go too.
Yeah. Me too. I'm
Sorry.
losing so much money. This is not pretty. Oh yeah, I was gonna say long the dollar. Fuck, I forgot to tell him. I'll send him a message because I was like, if you're looking to long the dollar, sell the Swiss franc
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense. Yeah.
because you pay nothing. I think interest rates on Switzerland right now are like close to zero. So good way to trade.
The
Good
trade
way.
is to be in the US Max 7.
I
True.
think so too. Like I
I
think so
True.
too.
think I think we are near the bottom. Is it 5% below from here? Like fine, but this is the trade. That's why I put Nvidia and Microsoft. I kept my AMD. I think I have more AMD than Nvidia. I'm not sure, but then if I add Micro into the mix, then it's a shit show. Yeah,
Yeah.
what I'm saying, I won't do, Chase, because you were into Micron early, Nestor. You've been telling us about Micron like for a long time. This is not like you didn't join the party lately. So if I join now and I got,
I got 50% up. I'm willing to take
yeah,
that haircut. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Like I'm willing to invest the wins in this case. So it's like I just like they are sitting like they are the only ones producing gold, and gold just they became a monopoly. Like the way that I see it is they became a monopoly on gold, and the gold price is just quadrupled.
yeah.
You know what I mean? And then the competition that they had might actually run out of energy just because Trump is like, let's go to war. And it's like, okay.
So,
Yeah.
so, now, so now that you say about gold, let me say one more thing and then I'm going to go. So when this thing gets resolved, I'm talking about the war, and it's not going to take long, maybe perhaps until the end of March, beginning of April, then oil, oil stocks, and oil-related speculation from investors and commodities is going to go way down. I mean, ExxonMobil is it like 25 times earnings? something ridiculous. Like I don't think they have been 25 times earnings. Um, and then rotation into the Mac 7, which are in a good, they are in the buying zone. So the market will rotate. I always try to do the rotation before everyone to do this as a rotation. That's what I've been doing. So it will be a rotation into that. As far as crypto, I have no fucking idea. But
Wait till
then
end of year. Look,
the one regret I have, and I told Toby this, like in October during the summit, I wanted to
You
sell my
called it.
Ethereum and buy ExxonMobil,
Yeah.
and that would have been a good trade, but that didn't happen.
Like I think year to date, what's the year to date performance of?
I think it's like a
Let's have a look.
40%, something like that.
Yeah, like that's the thing. Like they just like that's the thing. Also, why I think they're not rallying is because they rallied before the conflict,
Yeah,
right? Like the Venezuela thing was the sort of spark,
they were expensive
right?
already.
Well, that was the thing. We were talking about it the other day, right? Like they were expensive at $60 a barrel.
Yes,
You know what I mean? But now,
they're really expensive.
no, they get cheaper because all of a sudden it's like that's the problem I have with like all metrics, right? It's like price to PE ratios. It's like, yeah, PE ratios is the last 12 months. Great. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like all of a sudden what happens if that changes in the next 12 months, right? Obviously, like the thing is like I don't think this is gonna last crazy, right? Like that being said, the thing is like there's a guy that says whatever you think is gonna last, multiply it by 10, and that could be the range. You know, it's like you say it's gonna last 3 months, well, 3 years. It's like boom.
um, well, I hope I'm wrong. I really, really hope I'm wrong. And I'm not specifically speaking about like the war is going to last incredibly long. It's just like the aftermath. I think that the chaos, that the aftermath of it will take a while. So we'll see, and I'm sure we'll be talking about it almost every episode now. It's going to be the topic, the core topic, likely for the next few months. Hopefully not, but you know.
What's this?
This is the year-to-date S&P
Oh,
500
yeah,
chart.
yeah, okay.
You know, Walmart's still 10% higher, like Costco high, right? And like Lockheed Martin and Raytheon higher. Well, Lockheed is 36% up, which is doing.
Of course they are.
You know, G Vernova. I'm talking about freaking Exxon. Exxon is up 27.6
The
since
best
the start of the
performing
year.
from here is Micron.
You see, sometimes you know what the biggest mistake they ask that what is the best investment and worst investment in on eToro? And I'm gonna give you my answer. The best investment I've ever done, Nvidia, by far. The worst I've ever done is the times that I have the research done and the conviction and I don't pull the trigger like I should.
Hmm.
That's the freaking
Yeah.
that's the worst investment I've ever done. You know, I'm gonna put that in the thing and hopefully I get. Okay, if you guys want to say it, and I'll tell Simon to cut it into shorts. Where's SanDisk? SanDisk still like SanDisk. Oh no, SanDisk is better. Crap, 162% in the year, and it
Hmm.
continues to rally like crazy. Insane. Okay, so what, Dimitris? Let's finish with that. What's your best investment and worst investment
Of all time?
of all time?
It's a good question. I think it's probably Nvidia because I bought deep into the 2022 during when it was like they're cheap. And the worst, Rivian.
Wow.
Rivian,
What you
yeah.
learn from Rivian?
That I got in too early, way too early.
I see.
The thing went public and then it went below the IPO price. And I'm like, yes, I'm gonna get it cheap. And then it got down, but I didn't buy much of it. I'm still on it, by the way. They're going to release their new the R2 tomorrow, so hopefully that will turn things around. But yeah, the best was Nvidia and the worst was Rivian, both in
Mimi.
tech.
Yeah. I mean, I guess the best investment for me, whether I've taken profits or not, that's a different story. It would be crypto, and then the worst is also crypto. So
Nice.
it really, the specific cryptos, you know what I mean? There's so certain altcoins that really just burned me. And, you know, you have like something like Binance that has felt like it's done nothing, but it has done a lot. Like it's
Yeah.
risen a lot over the years. It's just been so stable, a stable rise. And so XRP was a great investment, and it will continue to be, and I'll keep holding on to it. But yeah, yeah, I guess it would just be crypto and crypto.
Nice.
That would be my
Okay.
answer. Yes.
Okay. I get you. I understand. All right.
Mm.
I think that's it. Anything else you guys want to say?
No, that's it.
See you all next week. Thanks so much for watching. Graham Dragos. Steven asked something. Give me a second. Steve Evans. Man, sorry, I messed that up. He asked something. Where did I miss it? There you go. He's like, I think there's a talk. Like, you have no idea the talks that we're having on the Discord. Like, we
Yeah.
have so many theories. So many
Mm.
theories. Is China winning? Is China losing? It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. There's a
But
lot
yeah.
I want to say, but I can't.
But yeah, markets are down today. It's okay. Part of the plan. Part of the plan. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. We really appreciate being here week after week. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next week. All right. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.